Hello, folks, and welcome to Dawn Busters. We have a Dawn Buster. His taste champ. Going to start about over an hour ago, but I kept getting delayed by things. But I have two 40% alcohol Irish blended. This is Michael Collins, introduced in 2006 by a company called the Sidney Frank Company, and they just were an independent bottler. They didn't make any products, but they had it. They owned the brands and stuff. Matured and bottled in Ireland. So they probably weren't even a bottler, more like just a brand holder. But anyway, Michael Collins, double distilled from the last independent Irish owned distillery at the time. I think that's been bought out, but it was Cooley Distillery. They might still be independent, Cooley. I don't know if it's still made by Cooley Distillery, but Sidney Frank, he was a real old man and he ended up dying on an airplane, just not from a crash or anything, but being very old. And then the company got so after he passed away, the company was sold to Sazerac, and they still make a Michael Collins whiskey called Michael Collins. I think it's called the Politician, but I don't know if this one's still made. Okay, so let's see. 2 times distilled. I got to put something here. 3 times distilled. For the other one, 3 times distilled. And this one is at the Cooley Distillery. At Cooley Distillery. There's no website for either one. Now, this one is O'Neill's. I've been dealing with this one. You might have noticed if you watched any of the previous ones. It's aged 5 years in ex-bourbon barrels, and it's finished in double charred oak casks. And I found this at Total Wine and More, and I've only seen it there, and they got it for $14.99 right now. I get the impression that it's a private label for them. It's made by there you go. It's finally focusing. Made by West Cork Distillers. Yeah, okay, I got all that information. All right, well, I think I'll be able to tell them apart. This one, you can still find it. International market still has these old bottles. They're in good shape, but it's like $15.50, $15.65 or something like that. So you could go over there and get it. I haven't seen it anywhere else. Seen that other Michael Collins that they talk about, but not commonly. Not commonly, no. I don't know who O'Neill is, and I know Michael Collins had nothing to do with this whiskey. What they do, these whiskey companies, they'll find some old name from history and they'll just use their name for the product. Or they'll come up with a name like O'Neill's, it sounds Irish. So, okay, these are both amber, so the appearance won't matter. Oh, yeah, age statement for O'Neill's. I don't think it has an age statement. Well, let's double check. Some Irish words, Irish whiskey, a blend, mature. Okay. Okay, it says matured in bourbon seasoned oak cask from 4 to 12 years. And that's telling us that the youngest whiskey in here is 4 years old and the oldest whiskey is 12 years old. Seasoned oak cask. That's another way of saying used. What do they say, bourbon? Yeah. Aged 4 to 12 years in ex bourbon. It's not that they sometimes age it 4 years and sometimes 6 and sometimes 8 and sometimes 10 and sometimes 12. It's just that there's a range of different whiskeys they're blending together, the youngest being 4 and the oldest is 12, and it's all double distilled Irish whiskey. They do double distillation because they say it gives it more character. They do the same thing with 2 gingers, double distillation instead of the typical triple distillation. Jason Whitcomb says, "Good morning, Jay and chat. Happy Saturday." Excuse me, Saturday, Jay. Hope. Oh, you're right about Busch Light being in bottles. I just bought a 12-pack yesterday at a random grocery store for $8.99 plus tax. That's a good deal because when we get it over here, it's like $11.99 a 12-pack, and that's if it's on sale. Louisiana gets some good liquor deals, but the beer prices here aren't exactly great. I'll tell you that right now. They're not the worst, but they're not really that good. Yeah, liquor, you can find super discounts. Beer, you can find them, but it's not common. Yeah, I found that real super high grade, and I scored it a 100 out of 100. Stout from Boulevard for 69 cents. Now explain that. But then normally that would be, $15 a 4-pack, if not worse. It's just hit or miss, mostly miss, but you get some hits. Nah, can't find Busch Regular in bottles over here either, except if you sometimes see a 32 ounce, a quart. Yeah, quarts sometimes. 40 ounce, I don't recall seeing those, but yeah, you'll see quarts occasionally, like at the single sales at the convenience store, but that's not really too common. Busch Ice, yeah. Not Busch Ice, I mean Bud Ice. Oh, yeah, you'll see that in 40 ounce bottles pretty much everywhere. And King Cobra. It smells like bread, bread crust. Interesting. I don't know what that smells like. It almost smells like sherry, but neither one of these claim that they finish it in sherry cask. That's weird, huh? Sherry. Huh. Got me confused. Let's go with the taste. Cheers. Honey, little vanilla, sugar water, oak, maybe, yeah. Medium body, dry finish. Typical. This has got that stronger flavor and a heavier body. Not noticing any peat notes that I've been noticing with it. But it's if you want to call it a bold flavor, that sounds better than harsh. If you read the reviews for O'Neill's on Total Wine and More, it's like half and half. Half the people think it's really good. They love it. They're going to go back and get some more for $14.99. The other half say they hate it. A couple of people said they dumped it out. So definitely mixed reviews on it. Extremely mixed, like polarized. I think this has got to be the O'Neill's. I'm going to call it now. Got it wrong. Third failure. This is the Michael Collins. Well, that's shocking me. Now I'm getting the peat. I don't know what I was thinking though. I just talked about how Michael Collins is double distilled, and they do that to retain more flavor and get it a bigger flavor. And I'm tasting one with a bigger flavor, right? And I'm thinking it's O'Neill's. But you see, O'Neill's has a pretty big flavor as well. So that's what has me thrown with it. Did hate to get it wrong though. But if you think it's easy, try it out. You'll find it isn't really. I tried to go in chronological order, and then I kept forgetting certain brands that I had in different parts of the house. I don't have them all together because some are tall and they don't fit on a certain shelf and things like that. And I was like, oh, I forgot about Michael Collins. Oh, I forgot about Teeling. Well, too bad. I still have the Busker single malt. Oh, I'm sorry, single grain. The Busker single grain. No way I'm going to confuse that. I have Ide and Stills, which just came out 3 years ago. I don't see that being a confusion. Don't see that happening. And there might be one more in this, but I don't think so. There could be. Jay, have you ever tried Simpler Times beer from Trader Joe's? Yeah, many times, many times. Another controversial beer. Some people like it, some just hate it. Absolutely hate it. It's definitely unique. Like there's not really any other beer that tastes like it. They used to make Simpler Times Pilsner also with a red label. It was also an odd tasting Pilsner. Now, Simpler Times is all malt, no corn or rice. It's an all malt, German Reinheitsgebot beer. But boy, that thing really, I like it kind of, I don't love it, but I sort of like it. I liked it really when it was $6.99 a 12-pack. That's when I was really into it. Now it's $8.99 a 12-pack. So I got to think about it. Is it a craft beer or is it a regular beer? That's the question of the hour. I guess you could say it's Trader Joe's regular beer, their standby beer. But some people could argue that it's a craft beer also. So I don't know. I'm looking for an old Milwaukee replacement, and until Anheuser-Busch gets their new batch out, yeah, old Milwaukee's dead where I live. You can forget it. I might go by Star in a few months and see, because the last time I went to Star, they had a whole case full of old Milwaukee in the cooler, packed and out of date from last year. I was like, forget that. And if that's the case, it means nobody's buying it, which means they're going to dump it. They're going to discontinue it over there. They're not going to keep selling it, something that doesn't sell. I hope I can find it when it comes out. Yeah. They used to sell old Milwaukee at Rouse's. Then they stopped carrying it. Same story, most likely. No sales. Well, old Milwaukee gets no advertising support. Most people don't know about it. Anybody under 50 years old isn't going to even know what that is. If you're over 50, you probably remember the television commercials that ran it until the early 90s. Maybe mid 90s. They were always on always running commercials for that. Any football game, basketball game, hockey, bull riding, bowling, whatever, tennis. They would, well, maybe not tennis, but they would run the old Milwaukee, and it was always a theme, like people, men, usually almost always men out there fishing, usually. And then they would be grilling the fish and saying it doesn't get any better than this. And it would always be a location. Like that went back like 20 years, from the early 70s to the early 90s. And it was like Beatico Creek, Louisiana, which is not far from me. And they would go to the location. They would film the commercial, and they would be out there fishing. And then at the shore, the lake shore, or the creek side, grilling the fish, say doesn't get any better than this. I'm trying to sound like Louisiana accent, but they had the wrong location. I'm trying to sound Cajun, but that area over there is like all Anglo-Saxon American Protestant. But I used to like that commercial because I say, oh, Louisiana. And then the first Budweiser commercial with the frogs was in St. Rose, Louisiana, on St. Rose Highway. That's a big swamp there. Yeah, I was about to say that. And then they changed the commercials to get more like to maybe attract more young people, more of a party lifestyle. They had the Swedish bikini team. Remember, they would do the commercials where they were doing that same theme, hiking trail in Alaska, and then the Swedish bikini team would parachute in. And that went on for a couple of years, and a lot of women's groups were very angry about it. It was a pretty sleazy commercial, but they were trying to make it like a cool guy's drink, and it kind of worked. But then but that company wasn't making any money. Stroh's was struggling, so they couldn't afford to run any more television commercials. The last one I ever saw them run was on Super Bowl Sunday for old Milwaukee. when it won the gold medal at the American Beer Awards. What do they call that in Colorado? Great American Beer Festival. Won a gold medal. And they ran the commercial. If you remember the guy, it was a hand turning the can showing Old Milwaukee won gold. That's nice. No one cared, obviously, because I guess the sales didn't really go up. They didn't really increase. And the company was still struggling. Probably cost them, it cost them probably more money than they had. You know what I'm saying? No money to run that Super Bowl commercial. And the next thing you know, well, they sold out their whole company to Pabst 3 years later. 96 the commercial, and then 99 they were sold out. And Pabst, they don't run commercials for anything. So Old Milwaukee just went down, 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 down. They probably barely make any of it today around the whole United States. They got rid of the Old Milwaukee Ice. Ice. Still make the light and the regular and the non-alcoholic, the green label. I can find regular and light if I go to Lafayette, Louisiana. Well, I used to be able to find it. Let's see. I don't know about now. I like the light beer girls wrestling. Oh, yeah, that's pretty sleazy, too. Light wouldn't do that today. No way. Oh, yeah, I don't like those commercials, honestly. I rather the more dignified ones, like the location ones where they're grilling fish, or the Schlitz Adventure Series, like Hong Kong, where the sailors in Hong Kong going to the bar drinking Schlitz. That was really the heyday of the great commercials. Schlitz had all the gusto ads, right? There's only they had the guy from Kojak television series narrating it. You only go around once, so live life with gusto, or whatever they would say. Well, we never saw Schaefer commercials in Louisiana, sports or otherwise. Too far away from New York, but we got Schaefer beer. They would just stick it on the shelf, and people bought it, like me, because it was $7.98 a 24 pack. You go buy a suitcase called the Weekender, $7.98. But then, of course, Pabst being Pabst, they bought it out, and then you saw less of it, and after 2017, none of it. It's like a company that is like their goal is to make sure people cannot get their beer, and it's working. Blanda and Havlicek. That's a hockey player, right? Oh, well, anyway, the winner here, definitely not me. I still think the Michael Collins is a little better. It's got a little more like suave character to it, a little more developed character, but it's not close. It's not close. I mean, it's not. I didn't sleep like I needed to last night, so my mind is not working right. It's not far away. It is close. The price is about the same. You're talking about less than $1 difference between the two. The flavors are both kind of bold, which is unusual for Irish whiskey. So you say, I want an Irish whiskey that's got more flavor. I'm tired of these bland Irish whiskey. Well, these would be two good choices. Only thing is you may not like the flavors, you see, but you might, because you might like that bold approach. I like it personally, but so I think I'm still going to vote for Michael Collins. What's the chances you're going to see this one? Not good. I got about 30, 69. Yeah, about a third left. I can find it, but I think last time I was in that store, they only had like 2 or 3 on the shelf. So I don't know if that's the last of their supply, or they just didn't bother restocking it, because that place is huge and they might have a warehouse full of cases of it. But I kind of get the impression that they got about 3 left and you're never going to see it again. Kind of like that Jim Beam Black 8-year age, those old ones from over 10 years ago. They had a bunch of it. I kept telling people about it, and I guess people went over there, and then they had a little of it and then none of it. Regular size bottles and handles. It went from a huge amount to a good amount to none. And my friend David said, you run your mouth too much. You're telling everybody our secrets and they going over there and wiping the store out. I said, well, it's true. Of course, I don't want to be greedy about it. You may hunt for it. Yeah, you probably have to really hunt. But if you see it, I would recommend it, especially if the price is like $15.50, which I can buy it for. I wouldn't go above $18 though. No, I don't think I would do that. $17.99, I would go for it, but I wouldn't go higher. No, sorry. I like to just go to the random stores and find things. Yeah, I'm the same way. Just look around. I always get surprises. Any store I go to, I'll find surprises. Well, not at Walmart or Winn-Dixie usually, but if I go to like these little outposts, I'll call them. Yeah, then I'll find some oddball stuff. I got some outposts where I live. I found a tequila that I've never seen. I can find no information on it. As far as the internet is concerned, it does not exist. And people say you can find anything on the internet. Not this one. Nothing. And I mean, that bottle was full of dust and grime. It looked like hell. And she had it for $8.99. I think it's a liter bottle too. I'm not sure. I saw that thing twice. And then the third time I went in there, I'm saying to myself, this will never sell. Not that they bothered to clean it up, which would make sense, but I know how those people are. So I told her, I said, what's the price for this? She said $8.99. I could tell it was some cheap tequila, probably, obviously. I said, I'll give you $5. And she said, no, it's $8.99. I said, oh, okay. So I went to put it back on the shelf. And then she said, okay, I'll sell it for $5. As a gave her $5. It wasn't $5 plus tax. Just give me $5. That's what I bought it for. $5. Boom. And that was a funny story, but that is what happened. Jay, can you recommend a good Aldi's lager? Yes, I thought Aldager was good. Aldager, get it? Aldi lager. Aldager. What amazing by any means, but it was pretty good. It's kind of like a Samuel Adams Boston Lager knockoff, but yeah, I thought they did a good job with a Vienna. You know that kind of thing, like Yingling traditional Samuel Adams Boston Lager type thing. Not as good as Samuel Adams Boston Lager, old or new recipe, but $7.99 a 6-pack. Yeah, I'd buy it. That's sort of like pretty much about all they make, or I should say sell, because they don't make anything. Yeah, but don't expect to be, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to say, oh man, this is my new thing. Nah, it's nothing like that. And I think they make a couple of other things, but a lot of their stuff is real dodgy, man. It's real, some of it is just straight up bad. Yeah, it's good. I would check it out. Oh yeah, and they had that Fest beer. That's a lager. Märzen. Probably in the stores right now. I was thinking about going to Aldi, but I was like, I had that Fest beer before. They call it a Fest beer, but then it's a Märzen. They say it's a Fest beer, but it's a Märzen. Well, I mean, a Märzen is a type of Fest beer, but an October Fest beer specifically is a golden yellow, or if you want to call it yellow fizzy stuff, usually running about 6%, which is what they serve at Oktoberfest in Munich these days. But anyway, and you can get some in the United States, like Weihenstephaner Fest beer. That's the type they sell. Okay. Well, y'all take care. And sorry I got it wrong today. I tried my best. And we'll see what happens tomorrow with the next one in the lineup. Then eventually we'll be getting to Scotch whiskey, single malt Scotch, and we'll run through that. Well, not run, more like creep through it, because it takes me forever to do it, but we'll do it. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. Take care.